Nobody expected this twist. Max Verstappen and Honda were once a powerful team. 4 championship wins, chasing a 5th, and a connection that brought dominance on the track. But even with all that glory, the relationship between Red Bull and Honda has never been fully steady. At times, things got complicated, forcing Red Bull to look elsewhere for a solution, this time turning to Ford. But just because Red Bull shifted direction doesn't mean Max was ready to let go. He's made it clear he still wants to work with Honda again. And interestingly, Honda feels the same way. So the question now is, can these two reunite? And if yes, under what conditions? Their time together was something special, one of the most successful partnerships Formula One has seen. But even the best runs eventually pause. Honda has decided to move forward, joining Aston Martin under conditions that are raising eyebrows. The Silverstone-based team has managed to bring in Adrian Newey, who will be playing a big technical role. This new direction for Honda makes things even more tempting for Verstappen. He's already shared how much the success with Honda meant to him, and that bond hasn't faded. Right before the most recent Japanese Grand Prix, likely the last one where Honda and Red Bull would be linked, Max spoke about those moments with genuine respect. He recalled that while they had tasted victory before Honda joined, the achievements that followed were on another level. Winning 4 titles together built more than just a record. It created a deep connection. For Max, it's not just about trophies. It's about remembering everything they accomplished side by side, and he hinted that the story might not be over just yet. He said goodbye, yes, but he also left the door open. After all, he's still young and no one really knows what the future might bring. What's certain is that Honda holds Max in high regard. They've seen what he offers, not just as a driver, but as someone who understands their way of working, and that has left a strong impression. Now think about the possibilities if Max ends up racing for Aston Martin, with Honda providing the engines and talents like Adrian Newey, Andy Cowell, and Luca Furtado playing major roles. That combination could be extremely hard to resist for someone like Verstappen. Let's not forget, before their successful run with Red Bull, Honda had a rough time in Formula One. Back in 2015, during their stint with McLaren, things were so bad that Fernando Alonso called the Honda engine a GP2 engine during a race. For a driver and a team to help an engine supplier rise from such a low point to the top of the sport, that kind of impact earns lasting respect. That's why Honda sees Max as more than just a skilled driver. It's about the relationship, the communication, and the trust he built with their engineers. That's the main reason they're hopeful about reconnecting with him sooner rather than later. Right now, Aston Martin's driver situation isn't exactly locked in, which could open the door for something unexpected. Honda's president, Koji Watanabe, shared his thoughts openly. He mentioned that he's had several conversations with Max, and every time Verstappen has shown nothing but appreciation for Honda's mindset and work ethic. According to Watanabe, Max doesn't just drive. He communicates in a way that brings engineers closer to him. That connection has made many within Honda genuinely admire him. He said the engineers have become real fans of Max, not only because of his skill behind the wheel, but also due to the kind of person he is. That's rare in this sport, where relationships are often just about performance. Looking ahead, the earliest possible point where this reunion could happen seems to be with Aston Martin. That team is in a strong spot as the 2026 regulations come into view. Even though there were doubts about how Honda would handle the new engine rules, it's become clear they're ready to rise to the challenge. Although the upcoming 2026 regulations bring a fair amount of uncertainty, Honda appears to be embracing the tough road ahead. The new rules are expected to change a lot about how teams operate, especially when it comes to power units. Honda has openly admitted they don't yet have the full performance they're aiming for, but they've accepted that challenge head-on. Juan Pablo Montoya has also weighed in on the situation. He believes Aston Martin might come up with an offer that Verstappen simply won't be able to turn down. Montoya suggests that Max might give Red Bull one more year, just enough time for Newey and the team to adjust to their new setup. But he doesn't think Aston Martin will start winning straight away. It'll take time for everything to click. That puts Verstappen in a tough spot. If he wants to keep winning, he has to think carefully about where to go next, especially with such major changes on the horizon. There's a strong belief in the paddock that once the 2026 changes come into effect, one team might pull ahead and dominate due to how the new engine rules will work. While Ferrari and Mercedes are expected to be at the front, many insiders think Honda is preparing to surprise everyone with a powerful push of their own. Koji Watanabe spoke about how challenging the new engine design has been. Everything is changing. The motor is now a compact 355 kW unit, and it needs to be paired with a lighter battery. That combination is tough to develop, especially when you're aiming for high power with a much smaller package. Still, Honda isn't backing down. They're putting everything they have into getting ready for 2026. It's not an easy task, and they're not pretending it is. But the effort is there, and if it all comes together, it could completely shake up the order in Formula One. Max Verstappen's future with Red Bull isn't as certain as it once seemed. His contract includes an exit clause, which could let him leave the team if things don't improve. Even after his impressive win in Suzuka, the reality is that Red Bull's car is still not quite on the same level as McLaren, Ferrari, or Mercedes in terms of overall performance. Suzuka's unique layout helped Verstappen shine, but on more typical tracks, he's often forced to rely more on his driving skills than the strength of his car. Red Bull knows this too. That's why they've brought in drivers like Yuki Tsunoda to replace Liam Lawson. But even with changes, the car still has its weaknesses. The goal for the team now is to build a more competitive version of their 2025 car, to secure Max's loyalty and keep him focused on his pursuit of a fifth title. But as Helmut Marko, Red Bull's advisor, put it, if we can't offer him a winning car, it will be hard to keep him. That's the real pressure on Red Bull. They can't afford to let their star driver slip away. The clock is ticking for Red Bull. Every top driver has an exit clause in their contract, and Verstappen is no exception. If the team can't offer him a car capable of winning consistently, his loyalty will eventually be tested. If Red Bull can't turn things around, Max may have no choice but to look elsewhere. The idea of Verstappen potentially leaving for Mercedes is something people are already talking about. Toto Wolff, Mercedes' boss, has made it clear that there's no point in breaking up his current pairing. But should the opportunity arise, Mercedes won't hesitate to go after Max. McLaren's Zak Brown also shares this sentiment, suggesting that if Max were to leave Red Bull, Mercedes would be a prime destination. Ultimately, it all comes down to one question. Will Verstappen stick with Red Bull and fight for the fifth title, or will he move on to a team that can offer him the winning car he craves? For now, the ball is in his court. The future of Max Verstappen in Formula One remains uncertain, and with so much at stake, the next few months could see major shifts in the driver market. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the video appearing on your screen right now.